What would drive a homeless young woman to ask a millionaire for the chance to be treated like a daughter? Discover how a simple act of honesty transforms into an unexpected bond of love and trust. It was a cold night in a big city when Lara, a 22-year-old homeless girl, found herself on the edge of the sidewalk, watching the bright lights of luxurious buildings. The contrast between her world and that of the millionaire seemed like a distant movie, akin to The Social Network, where lives intertwine amidst financial and personal dramas. What could compel someone to take such a bold step? With a determined look, Lara decided to approach one of these buildings. Inside, a lonely billionaire, Carlos, was dealing with the recent loss of his only daughter. The pain wrapped around him like a heavy cloak, making him feel equally distant from the world. In a moment of vulnerability, Lara crossed his path. "Please, treat me as your daughter," she said with a sincerity that caught Carlos's attention. The phrase made her feel exposed, and the question that arose in her mind was, what could lead someone to beg for love from a stranger? Moved by the echoes of his own tragedy, Carlos decided to listen. Lara had lost her parents in a tragic accident and had been wandering the streets ever since, dreaming of a home. Their dialogue began slowly, but as the hours passed, an unlikely connection began to form. What Lara brought into Carlos's life was a new perspective on love and loss. She had her own ghosts and hopes. As the conversation flowed, secrets began to be revealed, and the mystery surrounding their lives started to unfold. But the question that remained was, could two strangers find comfort in each other in such an indifferent world? In this video, we will follow Lara and Carlos's journey, exploring their lives, challenges, and the magic of an unexpected encounter. You will discover how their stories intertwine in ways you could never imagine. Stay with us as we unveil fascinating secrets about how love can emerge in the most unexpected places and the emotional implications of these unlikely bonds. In the heart of a small town forgotten by time, there was an old lighthouse that no longer illuminated the sea. But on a stormy night, a mysterious figure emerged from the shadows, bringing with it a secret that would change everything. The story begins with Clara, a curious young woman who always dreamed of uncovering the mysteries behind the abandoned lighthouse. One morning, while exploring the site, she found a dusty diary buried beneath the deteriorated floorboards of the building. The pages revealed the life of a former lighthouse keeper, Lucas, who had disappeared without a trace. The diary narrated sleepless nights spent watching storms and lost ships, crying out for help. But amidst the poetic descriptions, there was something more, a series of codes and enigmatic drawings that promised to reveal the location of a lost treasure. Driven by curiosity, Clara decided to follow the clues contained in the diary. Each step she took led her deeper into a mystery that defied logic. She wondered, what could have happened to Lucas? And more importantly, what secret was hidden in the yellowed pages? With each new step, Clara felt her own life was intertwined with the lighthouse keepers, as if their stories were destined to cross. As she deciphered the codes, Clara discovered that the treasure was not gold or precious stones, but an important cultural legacy that Lucas had protected, letters from sailors narrating their experiences at sea, stories of courage and loss. The true treasure revealed the essence of life at sea and the connection between people, now lost. But the mystery didn't end there. The last pages of the diary contained a warning, beware of the storm that is coming. As she looked through the lighthouse's viewfinder, Clara saw dark clouds forming on the horizon. What would she do with this knowledge? The storm was approaching, not just in the sky, but in the very story unfolding before her. The questions echoed in her mind. Would she be able to save not only Lucas's story, but also the lessons he had to teach? The lighthouse, still standing, seemed to whisper secrets of a past that longed to be heard. The last enigma of the lost library. What would you do if you knew that a single page in an old book could change your life forever? That's how Lucas's journey began, a young librarian whose curiosity would lead him to an enigma that challenged not only his intelligence, but also his courage. One morning, while organizing the dusty books of a library forgotten by most, Lucas found a worn diary. The dark leather cover displayed a mysterious symbol that seemed to pulse with its own energy. Intrigued, he decided to open the diary. The pages were filled with notes about a lost library, supposedly hiding a treasure of ancient knowledge and unimaginable power. The diary spoke of a legend: whoever could decipher the enigma contained within the pages of the lost library would gain access to a secret capable of revealing hidden truths about humanity's past. But there was a warning inscribed in capital letters: the truth is a heavy burden and may cost more than you are willing to pay. Deep down, Lucas felt drawn by the promise of adventure. However, he couldn't help but wonder, what terrible thing could be hidden in that library? What truths could change the world? Motivated by curiosity and a desire for understanding, he began his quest. The journey took Lucas to unusual places, from dusty old bookstores to underground catacombs. At each point, he faced challenges that tested not only his knowledge but also his faith in himself. Gradually, Lucas began to unravel the layers of the mystery, each revelation more intriguing than the last, leaving a trail of provocative questions in his mind. As he investigated, he discovered that he was not the only one seeking the diary's secret. A secret society, dedicated to protecting humanity's hidden knowledge, was watching him from afar. This made him question, who were these people, and why were they so determined to keep the truth hidden? With each discovery, Lucas wondered, how far would you go in search of the truth? As he approached the climax of his journey, he was about to discover not only what existed in the lost library but also what it meant to face his own truths and the risks of illuminating the unknown. The enigma of time. What would you do if you discovered that time is not linear as you always believed? In a small town, an old legend surrounded the abandoned library, where it was said that a magical book could reveal secrets about the past and the future. Young Lucas, fascinated by mystery stories, decided to explore the site on a foggy night. Upon entering the library, Lucas felt a mixture of fear and excitement. The smell of dust and the echo of his own footsteps filled the air, while the whispers of the book seemed to call out to him. At the back of the room, a particular book caught his attention. The worn cover and almost faded golden letters seemed to promise more than any other volume. The Book of Time, the title read. Driven by an inexplicable force, Lucas opened the book, and to his surprise, it began to glow. Words started to form in the air, revealing stories of people who, throughout history, had discovered the power to shape time. Among them, a woman who predicted a storm that would devastate her village, saving lives, and a man who, by altering small events from his childhood, transformed his future into a tale of success. But the book didn't just show benefits, it also warned of consequences. Every action in time created echoes, and altering the past could create dangerous realities. What if Lucas, by reading these stories, became the next person to play with destiny? This doubt hammered in his mind. A sense of urgency filled the room. He realized that he was about to make a decision that could change everything. Lucas wondered, should I take the risk and try to change something, or let time follow its natural course? The answers were there, in the pages of the book, but the cost of discovery was uncertain. As the night wore on, a feeling of responsibility weighed on him. He knew that the power to manipulate time was tempting, but who would be willing to carry such a burden? With this reflection, Lucas felt that the true enigma was far from being solved. And as he closed the book, he realized that the greatest mystery was, in fact, his own choice. The hidden message in the shadows. What would your life be like if you discovered that the reality you know is not the only truth that exists? That was the question that hovered on Lucas's lips, a 12-year-old boy, as he sat in the corner of the classroom while the teacher explained ancient history. But he was more interested in the strange atmosphere surrounding him, an inexplicable sensation pulsing through his veins. One morning, while exploring his grandmother's attic, Lucas found a dusty box, covered in cobwebs. Curious, he opened it and revealed a set of old letters addressed to a person whose name he did not recognize. Upon reading the first one, a wave of emotion ran through his body. The words seemed to vibrate, revealing secrets of times past, filled with feelings and fears that still echoed in the present. But what intrigued Lucas the most were the last lines of each letter, where there was a hidden riddle that could lead to a greater mystery. When the shadow touches the peak of the mountain, a lost treasure will find its home. What did that mean? Which mountain? What treasure? A growing passion for discovery and adventure began to ignite within him. Weeks passed, and Lucas, determined to solve the mystery, began investigating the origin of the letters. He delved into books and conversations with the town's elderly residents. Each new detail revealed a part of the story that was being forgotten. What he didn't know was that this search would lead him to a revelation about his own family, a secret kept for generations. As Lucas got closer to the truth, strange occurrences began to happen. Shadows danced in his vision, whispers echoed in empty corridors, and he felt as if something or someone was always watching. The suspense grew, and the line between reality and the supernatural became increasingly blurred. The burning question in his mind now was, how far would he go to uncover the secrets that seemed so intimate? Could the treasure be more than a physical object, but a key to understanding his own identity? With every step, Lucas wondered, what truths are hidden in the darkness, and what changes might they bring to his life? The echo of shadows in the silence of the night. Have you ever wondered what the echoes of the past might say if they had a voice? This question haunted Clara's mind as she walked through an ancient city, whose cobblestone streets seemed to whisper hidden secrets with every step. Clara had always been fascinated by untold stories. Her curiosity led her to explore an old mill by a lake. As she crossed the creaking door, an inexplicable cold surrounded her. Inside, mold-covered walls held the vestiges of past lives. A dusty diary lay on a table. Its pages were nearly disintegrated, but the words still shone like precious gems. The reading revealed the secrets of a young woman who, like Clara, sought answers in a world marked by the shadow of the unknown. The young woman's story in the diary unveiled mysteries that seemed to dance in the lantern's light. She spoke of a lost love, broken promises, and a quest for redemption. Each line was a present echo, a bridge between past and present. But why couldn't the young woman escape the repetitive cycle of pain and hope? What limited her freedom? Clara felt that, somehow, she was connected to that narrative. As she delved into the pages, Clara began to realize that the mill's shadows were not just memories, but reflections of fears and longings. Could she, like the young woman, find a way out? The questions surrounded her. How far would she be willing to go to forge her own destiny? The heavy atmosphere of the room seemed to come alive with the impact of each revelation. What would happen if Clara decided to follow the young woman's steps and confront what haunted her? She ventured to explore a hidden tunnel behind the wall, leading her to a labyrinth of choices and dangers. At the end of the tunnel, a locked door symbolized the barrier between what was and what could be. In the end, Clara's story unfolded like an echo. Each choice echoed deeply within her, promising not only the discovery of secrets but also the liberation from the chains that bound her. What would she choose? Could the past finally be an ally in her quest? The answer was just one step away, in the shadow of her courage. The forgotten book. Since the first man left a mark in the sand, stories have awaited discovery. What would happen if a mysterious object, lost in time, could reveal secrets that would change the course of history? Lucas's narrative begins exactly like that. He was a simple librarian in a small town when one day, at the back of a dusty shelf, he found an ancient book covered in cobwebs with a rusty lock. Curious, Lucas couldn't resist the temptation to unravel the mystery. With every page he turned, his disbelief grew. They were accounts of a lost kingdom, a treasure of knowledge that could transform lives. But what made the book truly special were the enigmatic illustrations that accompanied the texts. They seemed to pulse with something more, an energy that moved him to seek answers. As Lucas immersed himself in the pages, he felt as though something was watching him. He began to notice strange events around him, books moving on their own, echoes of laughter at dusk, and shadows that seemed to dance on the shelves. This atmosphere of suspense fueled his curiosity. What could be the secret behind the book? What was he supposed to discover? Eager to learn more, Lucas decided to research the history of the enigmatic object. He came across ancient legends that spoke of a group of guardians who had vowed to protect the knowledge contained in that book. A dilemma formed: should Lucas reveal to the world what he had found or keep the secret and protect the town from a possible collapse of its beliefs? As the pressure mounted, Lucas found himself in a moral quandary. What could the truth cause? Could a simple book alter how people viewed the world? As the day of revelation approached, He began to question his own purpose. Who was he in the grand scheme of things? Thus, amid mysteries and revelations, Lucas realized that the true adventure was only just beginning. Aware that unraveling this story could unleash extraordinary consequences, he prepared for his destiny. What would be the impact of his choices? Only time, and perhaps the book, would reveal the truth. The last message: what would you do if you knew that your time was running out? This question echoed in Lucas's mind as he looked at his phone, where an unusual message awaited a response. It was a simple notification, but the urgency emanating from it was palpable. "It's time to decide," it said. He had no idea that this message would change the course of his life. Lucas had always been a rational man, but at that moment, he felt enveloped in a mystery that challenged him. The sender? Unknown. The content? Just an enigmatic phrase that sparked a flame of curiosity inside him. Without hesitation, he decided to investigate. He delved into the life of the recipient, a young woman who apparently had no connection to him. But what began as a casual search soon turned into a dark journey. As Lucas uncovered the young woman's secrets, he discovered that she was in a desperate situation, a choice between saving her own life or diving into a dangerous adventure. The moral dilemma that arose before him made him reflect. If you had the chance to save someone at risk, what would you be willing to sacrifice? This was the question that could shape not only the fate of the stranger, but also his own. The suspense grew with each new revelation. The connection between Lucas and the young woman became more intricate and exciting, challenging his beliefs about courage and altruism. What initially seemed like a simple exercise in curiosity turned into a deep reflection on the value of life and the choices we make. He found himself at a crossroads: act or remain silent. After days of dilemmas and discoveries, Lucas finally reached the climax of his journey. He was about to send a message that could not only change the young woman's trajectory, but also reveal a part of himself that he didn't know. The mystery unfolded like a book whose pages revealed hidden truths and unexpected twists. So, what would you do if you had the chance to change not only someone's destiny, but your own? In the end, the last message was not just about choice, but about the essence of being truly alive. The last encounter: what would you do if you knew that the next encounter could be the last? The question echoed in Clara's mind as she crossed the city, her trembling hands holding the flowers she had bought. That day would mark a point in a story full of love and mystery, a love that was never fully declared but that had always existed between her and Lucas. Clara and Lucas met during a dance class. Since then, a deep connection had blossomed, full of laughter and meaningful glances. However, the fear of what could be always loomed over them like a shadow. In a game of unspoken feelings, what should have been a romance turned into a unique friendship, but one filled with unspoken words. That morning, Clara received a message that would change everything: "We need to talk." The words echoed in her mind, stirring a whirlwind of emotions. What would Lucas have to say? Would he reveal his feelings, or worse, be ready to walk away? As she made her way to the cafe where they would meet, Clara wondered if she could bear what was coming. Would it be the end of hope or the beginning of something wonderful? The suspense grew with every step. It was as if time had stopped, every brush of the flowers against her blouse symbolizing the moments they had shared, filled with silent promises. When Clara entered the cafe, Lucas's look made her catch her breath. He was more serious than ever, and every instinct in her begged him to say something to ease the tension. The cup of coffee before him cooled, and the silence between them became palpable. "Clara," he began, and at that moment, her heart raced. The word held a mystery that promised shattering revelations. What he would say could change their lives forever. The question hanging in the air became more intense: would they be able to face the truth that had always been hidden between them? With each word that followed, Clara knew that her life would never be the same. The revelations not only unveiled secrets, but also explored what it meant to love fully, the pain of the unspoken, and the power of the present moment. The emotional implications spread around, challenging them to take the risk of a feeling they could have lost forever. The echo of silence: what would you do if you discovered that the silhouette you see in the distance could change your life forever? That question echoed in Clara's mind, an ordinary woman living in a city where secrets are hidden around every corner. The monotony of her routine was broken one autumn morning when she spotted something strange at the old abandoned tower at the end of the street. What was supposed to be just a ruined structure held a mystery that would unfold into an unpredictable journey. Driven by an uncontrollable curiosity, Clara decided to investigate. With each step toward her goal, a mixture of fear and excitement enveloped her, as if she were on the verge of a monumental discovery. What she didn't know was that the tower held not only forgotten stories, but also a secret capable of affecting the entire city. As she climbed the dusty stairs, Clara discovered a hidden room filled with dusty books and ancient maps. The information she read revealed the existence of a secret passage, lost in time, that connected the tower to an ancient network of tunnels beneath the city. What could be hidden down there? Could it be treasures, dangers, or revelations that would change the city's fate? In this atmosphere of suspense, Clara found herself in a dilemma. Should she share her discovery with others or keep the secret to herself? The decision consumed her, with questions swirling in her mind. What if the truth was more terrifying than she imagined? What if the lives of the people around her were tied to what she was about to uncover? During her exploration, Clara found clues suggesting a connection to her own past, revealing that her family's choices were intertwined with the city's forgotten history. The implications were profound. How many lives could be saved or destroyed depending on her decision? Thus, Clara became not only a seeker of truths but also a guardian of destiny. By confronting the echo of silence surrounding the tower, she realized that sometimes the greatest discoveries are hidden in the shadows, waiting for someone to have the courage to face them. Curiosity guided her, but courage shaped her path, leaving everyone with a question at the end: how far would you go to discover the truth? The echo of silence: what would you do if you discovered a secret capable of changing your life forever? This was the question that tormented Alice's mind, a young woman searching for answers in a world full of uncertainties. On a rainy night, Alice found an old dusty diary in her grandmother's house. The pages were worn, but the words vibrated with a pulsating mystery. Intrigued, she began to read. The notes spoke of a line of hidden inheritances, of a legacy that could empower its bearers. The diary's author mentioned a lost artifact, the echo of silence, an object that promised to reveal truths about the past and the future. But there was a warning: many who had tried to find it never returned. What could be so dangerous? Driven by curiosity and a need to understand her origins, Alice decided to follow the clues left in the pages. Her journey took her to dark places, involving encounters with strange people who also sought the echo. Each step was a new revelation, but also a new risk. The fear of being followed accompanied her. Who else wanted the artifact? As she explored, Alice began to question her own reality. Were the stories true? What could she discover about herself and her family? Each encounter, each scenario, seemed to intertwine her fate with that of the other seekers, revealing secrets and betrayals she could never have imagined. As she delved deeper into the search, the line between dream and reality began to blur. What would happen if she found the echo of silence? Was she really ready to discover the truth about her lineage? And what if the answers she sought put her in danger? Alice knew the game was getting more dangerous by the day, but the hope of answers kept her steady. What was more valuable, what she could lose or what she could gain? The echo of silence was not just an object, it was a door to a new identity. Thus, as the search intensified, Alice also confronted her own beliefs, her uncertainties, and, above all, what it really meant to be free. What would she choose in the end? The last destiny of eternity. How would you feel if you knew that your final destiny was sealed in an ancient diary found by a stranger? That was Clara's reality, a young woman who, while cleaning her grandmother's attic, discovered a dusty diary that belonged to a distinguished ancestor. An explorer who defied the limits of the known world. In the faded pages, Clara found mysterious maps, notes about forbidden places, and accounts of supernatural encounters. What intrigued her most, however, was an enigmatic warning: the last journey is for those who have the courage to discover the secrets of the beyond. Clara felt a chill down her spine. That phrase echoed in her mind, as if the universe were challenging her. One night, while leafing through the documents, Clara identified a location on the map that seemed familiar. It was a small island, forgotten and shrouded in legends, that aroused her curiosity. The diary mentioned a treasure beyond mortal comprehension. Clara, driven by a mix of fear and excitement, decided she had to unravel that mystery. But what would happen if she wasn't prepared for what she might discover? Little did Clara know that the journey would not only be physical, but would transcend the limits of reality. Upon arriving at the island, inexplicable events began to occur. Whispering voices seemed to guide her, and shadows danced under the moonlight. What had really been buried in that sacred land? Was it material treasure or a long-forgotten knowledge about life and death? As Clara delved deeper into the island, she confronted her deepest fears. Questions began to arise. What if the true treasure was the connection with those who came before her? The diary spoke not only of wealth, but of valuable lessons about love, loss, and eternity. Would Clara be ready to face the legacy of her past? As the mystery unfolded, Clara realized that her quest was more profound than she had imagined. She had become part of a story that transcended generations. What she would discover at the end of this journey could change not only her destiny, but also everyone's understanding of what it truly means to live. In the end, the question remained, what would you do if you discovered secrets that could redefine your own existence? The last mystery of the lost village. What if I told you that an ancestral secret, hidden for generations, was about to be revealed? In the ancient village of Fernal, a place forgotten by time, whispers about a magical relic swept through the inhabitants' lips like furtive winds. But what did this relic really mean to those who sought it? The story began with Clara, a young archaeologist known for her unwavering determination. Upon receiving a peculiar letter from an old friend, Clara soon found herself drawn into the mystery surrounding Fernal. The friend mentioned the Tear of Gaia, an artifact that promised to unlock the secrets of nature and bring abundance to the village that had long suffered from scarcity. With burning curiosity within her, Clara set off on a journey. Upon arriving in the village, she found suspicious inhabitants who whispered among themselves about outsiders. But the young woman was not intimidated. Soon, she discovered that a deep legend permeated the worn walls of that community, and that the Tear of Gaia had the power to heal not only the land but also the hearts of the inhabitants. As Clara searched for clues, mysterious apparitions appeared on foggy nights. Dancing shadows and echoes of children's laughter haunted her. Who were those who had protected the secret for so long? Every step she took toward the truth seemed to awaken more mysteries. What would happen if the Tear of Gaia were found? What did the villagers fear? The tension grew as Clara came closer to revealing the artifact's location. She wondered what the impact of her discovery would be. Would it be a new beginning or the disillusionment of a people marked by loss? What happens when hope meets fear? And more importantly, what does true abundance really mean for a community that, despite difficulties, keeps its culture and tradition alive? The answer to the eternal question of what constitutes prosperity still echoed as Clara headed into the depths of the forest. She was getting closer to the truth. But what she would find could change not only Fernal, but also her own destiny. The mystery of the Tear of Gaia awaited, silent and powerful, ready to be unraveled. The enigma of the lost city in the heart of the Amazon, among majestic trees and winding rivers, a hidden city awaits discovery. What would happen if you had the chance to uncover the secrets it holds? Explorers often wonder, is there really a lost city, shrouded in mysteries and legends, filled with forgotten treasures and ancestral secrets? Maria, a passionate archaeologist, had dedicated years of her life to unraveling this enigma. After receiving an old letter from a traveler lost in time, she decided it was time to embark on a quest for the city mentioned in the yellowed pages. The account spoke of a place where gold blended with the green of the forests and where the spirits of the ancient inhabitants still whispered among the trees. Maria's journey was not easy. For days, she faced storms, treacherous trails, and the constant doubt whether she was truly on the right path. However, each obstacle fueled her determination. On a starry night, while resting in the shadow of a towering tree, she dreamed of figures from a forgotten civilization dancing around a bonfire. What could these spirits tell her? Days passed. And finally an imposing structure emerged through the mist, sculpted towers that seemed to surpass history itself. The signs were there, mysterious, as if they were waiting for someone worthy of their secret. Maria felt a mixture of fear and ecstasy. What could the city reveal? Treasures or curses? And if the inhabitants, those who once called that place home, hadn't entirely left? With her heart racing, Maria began to explore the remnants of the lost culture. Every object she found seemed to tell a story, every painting on the walls suggested a hidden meaning. Why did new questions form in her mind? What did the traces on the stones really reveal about that civilization? And above all, what consequences would this have for the modern world? Maria realized that this journey was more than a search for treasures, it was a journey of self-discovery and connection with those who came before. What did the lost city still hide? The echoes of the past awaited to be heard, and certainly, Maria would not be the same after uncovering its secrets. Thus, the mystery continued, promising new revelations at every step. The secret of the blue clock. It was a rainy night when Lucas found an old blue clock in a forgotten antique shop. But what was so special about that object? What few knew was that it held a secret that would change the life of whoever possessed it. Upon turning the key of the clock, a bright blue light enveloped Lucas, revealing images of people living crucial moments of their lives. Amid laughter and tears, he realized that the clock had the power to show what could have been if choices had been different. But why was that happening? The clock seemed to have a will of its own, manipulating the memories of anyone who dared to touch it. Lucas was a young man who always wondered what would have happened if he had confessed his love for Clara, his best friend. As he contemplated the representation in one of the clock's frames, he saw a future where they were together, enjoying a life full of adventures. However, with happiness came a shadow, a claustrophobic warning that some choices could lead to other, not always pleasant, consequences. As Lucas delved into the mysteries of the blue clock, he began to ask himself, how far are we willing to risk altering what has already happened? Isn't it the unknown and painful experiences that truly shape our lives? Each image that appeared brought a new perspective on his past experiences, challenging his convictions and fueling his anguish. Amid this journey through time, Lucas discovered that he was not alone. Other people who had possessed the clock had also faced similar dilemmas. Each one, upon contemplating their pasts, questioned, would it be easier to live with the pain of the choice made or with the weight of missed opportunities? The story of the blue clock wasn't just in its gears, but in the human emotions it evoked. The clock, in its essence, was a mirror of the soul, reflecting the hopes, regrets, and fears that we all carry. What would you do if you had the chance to see what could have been? In the end, the answer may be more surprising than you imagine. The labyrinth of memories. What would you do if you could relive a moment of your life? On a gray and rainy day in the small town of Taverton, a mysterious diary is found in an antique shop. The yellowed and worn pages held secrets long forgotten, ready to be revealed. It was the diary of a man named Elias, who claimed to be able to access the memories of people around him. Curiosity gripped the townspeople when a young man named Thomas, intrigued by the diary's content, decided to test it. He sat in a park, opened the book, and began to read aloud. To his surprise, as the words left his lips, he not only evoked Elias's memories, but also accessed fragments of strangers' lives. The first to be touched was an old man sitting on the bench beside him, whose expression transformed from boredom to pure nostalgia. Upon hearing a passage about a first love, tears welled up in his eyes. What was it about those pages that resonated so deeply? What Thomas didn't know was that the diary not only told stories, but was also a portal. Each reading brought to life fragments of a life that did not belong to him, but the feelings were so real that he found himself immersed in unknown anguish and joy. His journey through the labyrinth of memories revealed stories of loss, love, and redemption, raising an unsettling question: to what extent are we shaped by others' experiences? As Thomas delved deeper into the diary, he realized that he could use this ability to help the people around him, but the power came with a price. Each memory he absorbed took away a part of his own. How could he balance the desire to help with the possibility of losing his identity? In the end, the diary didn't just hold secrets of past lives, it also challenged Thomas to confront his own memories and to highlight his emotions. What would you do if you had the chance to choose? Could the true power of memories be the key to understanding not only others, but ourselves? The last encounter, who would have imagined that the fate of a small village could be tied to a simple lost diary? When the sun set on a cloudy afternoon, a young woman named Clara found the old dusty diary in an antique shop. She didn't know that its pages held secrets that could change her life and that of her fellow villagers forever. The diary belonged to a famous artist who, in his youth, had lived in the village. Between poems and enigmatic drawings was an unfulfilled promise, a hidden treasure that, according to some, had the power to grant wishes. The village, marked by legends and mysteries, throbbed with the expectation of what the discovery could bring. But what exactly was this treasure? Clara shared the discovery with her friends, Lucas and Sophia, and together they formed a group of explorers. Each page of the diary revealed clues, but also raised doubts. What had really happened to the artist? Why had he abandoned his art? More intriguingly, what was hidden behind each written word? As the weeks passed, a suspenseful atmosphere enveloped the small village. The trio retraced the artist's steps, visiting the locations mentioned in the diary. Amid laughter and frustrations, their friendship grew stronger, but a lingering doubt persisted: was the treasure real or just an illusion created by the mind of a dreamer? However, a shadow loomed. Other villagers, driven by greed, were also searching for the famous treasure. Intrigues began to surface, and the trio's camaraderie was tested. They found themselves in a race against time as well as against unexpected adversaries. What was the enigmatic treasure? Life and death, art and disillusionment? Finally, they reached an unexpected conclusion, where what they found was not just material wealth, but a deeper understanding of life and the essence of true happiness. The greatest secret of the diary was not only to reveal the artist's past, but also the future of Clara and her friends. Were they ready to face the choice that would present itself? The secret of the little clock. Once upon a time, there was a small clock, kept in an old wooden box, that had belonged to a renowned inventor. What made this clock special? Contrary to what one might think, it didn't mark time. Instead, it seemed to absorb the most crucial moments of its owner's life. But how could an inanimate object hold such secrets? That was the first question many asked upon hearing the story. At the heart of the narrative was Lucas, a curious young man who came across the clock during a visit to his grandmother's house. The sunlight hit the object, highlighting its intricate details and making it shine hypnotically. Intrigued, Lucas decided to investigate. With each tick-tock, memories and significant events from the inventor's life emerged, revealing lost loves, triumphs, and setbacks that shaped his journey. What was really happening? The clock didn't just tell time conventionally, it functioned as a portal to the past. Each person who touched it could feel a pulse of emotions and experiences from the lost moments. Thus, by exploring the clock's secret, Lucas dived into each story, from the inventor's first love to his last invention, which, ironically, was never completed. But there was a greater mystery behind the clock. Why had the inventor decided to keep his eloquent past in such a humble object? And what did he want to teach us? These questions became the driving force behind Lucas's quest for the truth, leading him to encounters with the inventor's old friends and exploring the whispers of time in his hometown. As the story unfolded, it became clear that the clock didn't just evoke memories, but sparked reflections on choices and regrets. What would each of us leave behind if we could glimpse the past? What did it really mean to live in the moment? As Lucas unraveled the threads of the past, he discovered that the clock's true secret was the power of memory and human connection, a lesson that echoed through time. And so, the story of the little clock became a reminder that, behind each tick-tock, there is life, love, and a legacy waiting to be told. The mystery of the alchemy of time. What if I told you that, in a forgotten corner of the world, there is a book that promises to reveal the secrets of manipulating time? In a small village in the heart of Europe, the old librarian Otto guarded an aged tome that had been considered a legend for generations. The curiosity of many had been piqued, but few dared to venture into its dusty pages. One night, as the stars shone like diamonds in the sky, a young woman named Clara decided to explore the library. Since childhood, she had heard stories about the mysterious book, but never imagined she would have the courage to seek it out. Driven by almost uncontrollable curiosity, she ventured through the shelves, her heart racing in anticipation of the unknown. When her fingers touched the spine of the book, a shiver ran down her spine. The title, The Alchemy of Time, seemed to pulse in her hand. Clara knew she was about to discover something extraordinary, but she also understood that the true hallucination could be what the knowledge would bring. Through an intricate narrative, the book explored the idea that time is not linear, but rather a woven mesh of paths. What if we could not only look at the past, but shape it? Clara pondered as she immersed herself in the pages. The reading revealed stories of historical figures who, using the teachings contained within, managed to alter crucial events in their lives and, in some cases, of humanity. But with each revelation, Clara faced a new dilemma. What would happen if someone could really alter the course of time? Would the consequences be catastrophic or beneficial? What is the moral limit of playing with time? The questions piled up in her mind, and the excitement was accompanied by a cold feeling in her stomach. By the end of that night, Clara stood before a monumental choice. She had the ability to change her own history, to avoid regrets or create new realities. But at the same time, her heart weighed with the responsibility of such power. What would she decide? The book, now a guide in the darkness, promised new discoveries, but also revealed the darkest secrets that time could hide.